Now let me pose a hypothetical, and this is not
Sure.
my argument. This I heard somebody make this argument, and that's part of what made me start to question the whole murder thing. Um, what? So he has a history with George Floyd, and I don't know what their history was like. I don't think any of us do. Like if they got along
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
worked together or whatever. So the fact that they had a history doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't like George Floyd. What if? Just
Oh
what
yeah.
if he shows up and there's this chaos and George Floyd he sees this guy that he knew and he knows that he's got this bad track record and he thinks, man, Floyd, come on, get it together. And he's like trying to work with him, trying to like even in court they said they could have tased him. They would have been justified to tase him or use more force or whatever. But what if he is just like trying his best to hold this guy down? They rolled down the window, they turned on the air conditioner, they said we're not here to hurt you or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's holding him down, and there's an angry mob around. Who knows what could happen? Just trying to put myself in the mindset of what the cop could have been thinking if he's not a murderer. He might have just been not paying close enough attention to the body that he is crouching on because he's, he's concerned for his own safety when everybody's angrily watching him. Do you think that there's any possibility of that?
I think that that goes out the window when there were multiple times that he did look down, not, for long periods of time, but it wasn't as though he was so fully distracted by the crowd that he wasn't able to see what he was doing. And,
Sure.
and again, I think that really goes out the window when someone comes up, when an officer comes up and says he doesn't have a pulse and he continues to just, basically pretend he didn't just hear being told that and continues to kneel down on him. That sounds like someone who's just making sure that, the pulse isn't just weak.
But do you think it's possible?
Absent that, do I think absent those two things happening,
I see.
then maybe it could be possible. With those two things factored in, no, I don't think that was possible. It's a really weird thing that happened because if you watch the initial part of that detaining, for the most part, it was pretty reasonable. Like you said, they didn't tase him. They even tried. And again, I forget if George asked to be let out of the car or if they got him out of the car because they had to move some, whatever reason it was, and then George resisted. So
I watched it earlier today, which I don't enjoy at all. But he was like flailing to get out of the car, and he's like halfway out of the car, like his upper body's out. He's like pushing his way out. He's like, "Just take me out, put me on the ground, put me on the ground." And yeah, he was still in the car, begging for them to do what they did.
Right. So up to that point, I would be more likely to think, yeah, okay, this is, this potentially is something went really bad. He had a heart attack while they were trying to detain him, or something like that. I think once and again, the coroner's report says that the ultimate cause of death was the knee on the neck. Sure. Also, again, I don't believe he was distracted. You can see him looking down multiple times. And then the final thing, the coup de grace it's a literal coup de grace, is that another officer comes up, says he doesn't have a pulse, and Chauvin responds by continuing to kneel on him. If this was, I'm trying to help my buddy Floyd, you hear he doesn't have a pulse, guy's not moving, you start doing CPR or you get up so someone else who knows how to do it can do it. You don't sit there calmly and continue to do what you were doing that led to him not having a pulse. So no, I don't. I think absent. I think with that, in context, no, I don't think this. I think it was what it was. I mean, when I said that I think that this was the right verdict, I think that he intentionally killed George Floyd and it was not for self-defense. It wasn't even because he was resisting at that point. It was literally he just, for whatever reason, decided to.
But I read somewhere that Chauvin actually called, or he either called or he told them to call for the ambulance twice and to like speed up the process for them to get there faster. Is that?
I haven't heard that. I don't know if that's true or not. It might be true, but again, the things that I lean on are really the last parts right that happened right there. He was not distracted in doing it.
They're pretty bad.
It's really bad. Like it's really, really bad.